it flew away. வந்துட்டியா சீக்கிரம்? $42 இல்ல? 100 இருக்குல்ல? 100 இருக்கா? 100. How many class we have? March 1 week I am not here. ஆறு இருக்கா? அப்போ முடிச்சிடலாம். Then we can finish. Arrange 4 verses. Then we want Krishnamurti. Adhyasa Varsham. Somebody is asking Bradaranya Upanishad, so I don't know I will last that. I don't know I will last that long. Okay. I have done it for Thursday morning. Before Nishkarma Siddhi, I did Bradaranya. That went for 4 years.
Very eager to start Adhyasa Bhashan.
Oh yeah. I am also interested. For my own.
You don't want to do Swamiji? Yoga Vasishtam. In between.
Sumarini.
After Brahma Sutra, we will do
Ashtavaka Gita is there. We'll do Adhyasa Bhashyam. But you have to get the book.
So that is only in September, Swamiji. Anyway, June you finish this.
Not 1 month, 2 months.
2 months. Only 10
Oh, you're going to do Dakshinamurti Stotram.
Oh yeah, it's very, it's a condensed Vedanta, you know. One sloka itself will take 2-3 weeks. Huh? Huh? One sloka. The CIF has a
Maybe by then we can figure out
CIF has a big book.
maybe by November.
We check with Swamiji, Siddhaji. Let's see. Okay. Maunavyakhya prakatita parabrahmatattvam yuvanam varishistante vasatrishiganayi avrutam brahmanishtai आचार्येन्द्रं करकलितचिन्मुद्रमानन्दमूर्तिं स्वात्मा रामं दक्षिणामूर्तिमीडे वटविटपि समीपे भूमिभागे निषन्नं सकलमुनिजनानां ज्ञानदातारमाराधे त्रिभुवनगुरुमीशं दक्षिणामूर्तिदेवं जननमरणदुःखच्छेददक्षं नमामि चित्रं वडतरोर्मूले वृद्धा शिष्या गुरुर्युवा गुरोस्तु मौनं व्याख्यानम् शिष्यास्तु छिन्नसंशयाः निधये सर्वविद्यानां भिषजे भवरोगिणां गुरवे सर्वलोकानां दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः ॐ नमः प्रणवार्थाय शुद्धज्ञानैकमूर्तये निर्मलाय प्रशान्ताय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः विश्वं दर्पणदृश्यमाननगरी तुल्यं निजान्तर्गतं पश्यन्नात्मनि मायया बहिर्भूतं यथा निद्रया यः साक्षात् कुरुते प्रबोधसमये स्वात्मानमेवाद्वयं तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये बीजस्यान्तरिवाङ्कुरो जगति तं प्राङ्निर्विकल्पं पुनः मायाकल्पितदेशकालकलना वैचित्र्यचित्रीकृतं मायावीव विजृम्भयत्यभिमः योगी वयस्वेच्छया तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये यस्यैव स्फुरणं सदात्मकमसत् कल्पार्थकं भासते साक्षात् तत्त्वमसीति वेदवचसा यो बोधयत्याश्रितान् യത്സാക്ഷാത്കരണാത് ഭവേന്ന പുനരാവൃത്തിർഭവാംഭോനിധൗ തസ്മൈ ശ്രീഗുരുമൂർത്തയേ നമഃ ഇദം ശ്രീദക്ഷിണാമൂർത്തയേ നാനാചിത്രഘടോത്തരസ്ഥിതമഹാ ദീപപ്രഭാഭാസ്വരം ജ്ഞാനം യസ്യ തു ചക്ഷുരാദികരണദ്വാരാ ബഹിസ്പന്ദതേ ജാനാമീതി തമേവ ഭാന്തം അനുഭാത്യേതഃ സമസ്തം ജഗത് തസ്മൈ ശ്രീഗുരുമൂർത്തയേ നമഃ ഇദം ശ്രീദക്ഷിണാമൂർത്തയേ ദേഹം പ്രാണമപീന്ദ്രിയാണ്യപി ചലാം ബുദ്ധിം ച ശൂന്യം വിദുഃ സ്ത്രീബാലാന്ധജടോപമാ സ്വഹമതി ഭാന്താഭൃശം വാദിനഃ മായാശക്തിവിലാസകൽപ്പിതമഹാ വ്യാമോഹസംഹാരിണേ തസ്മൈ ശ്രീഗുരുമൂർത്തയേ ശ്രീദക്ഷിണാമൂർത്തയേ ബാല്യാദിഷ്വപി ജാഗ്രതാദിഷു തഥാ രാഹുഗ്രസ്തദിവാകരേന്ദു മായാസമാച്ഛാദനാ തസ്മൈ ശ്രീഗുരുമൂർത്തയേ നമഃ ഇദം ശ്രീദക്ഷിണാമൂർത്തയേ ആഹുജ്വതി ജാഗ്രതാദിഷു തഥാ സർവാസ്വവസ്ഥാസ്വപി വ്യാവൃത്താസ്വനുവർത്തമാനമഹമിത്യന്തഃസ്ഫുരന്തം സദാ സ്വാത്മാനം പ്രകടീകരോതി ഭജതാം യോ മുദ്രയാ ഭദ്രയാ തസ്മൈ ശ്രീഗുരുമൂർത്തയേ നമഃ ഇദം ശ്രീദക്ഷിണാമൂർത്തയേ ശും പശ്യതി കാര്യകാരണതയാ സ്വസ്വാമി സംബന്ധതഃ ശിഷ്യാചാര്യതയാ തഥൈവ പിതൃപുത്രാധ്യാത്മനാ ഭേദതഃ സ്വപ്നേ ജാഗ്രതി വായ യേഷ പുരുഷഃ മായാസമാച്ഛാദനാത് ശ്രീഗുരുമൂർത്തയേ നമഃ ഇദം വിശ്വം നീലോംബരമഹർനാഥോ ഹി അംശുപുമാൻ ഇത്യാഭാതി ചരാചരാത്മകമിദം യസ്യൈവ മുക്ത്യഷ്ടകം നാന്യത് കിഞ്ചന വിദ്യത്തെ വിമൃശതാം യസ്മാത് പരസ്മാത് വിഭോ തസ്മൈ ശ്രീഗുരുമൂർത്തയേ നമഃ ഇദം ശ്രീദക്ഷിണാമൂർത്തയേ തമിതി സ്ഫുടീകൃതമിദം സത്വതമുഷ്മിൻ സ്തവേ നാസ്യ ശ്രവണാത്തദർത്ഥദമനാത് ധ്യാനാच्च സങ്കീർത്തനാത് സർവാത്മത്വമഹാവിഭൂതിസഹിതം സ്യാദീശ്വരത്വം സ്വതഃ യദ്രക്ഷതാ പരിണതം ച ഐശ്വര്യമവ്യാഹതം Aishwaryamavyahatam. We read 42, 42nd verse. Upalambhatma upalambhasamacharad asti vastutvavadinam jadistu deshita buddhaihi ajade trasatam sada. Here, Gaudapadacharya confesses a point that no doubt the ultimate truth is that there is no duality at all. There is no real world at all. That is the truth. Brahman alone was, Brahman alone is, Brahman alone will be, is the ultimate teaching of Vedanta. Even though this is the ultimate teaching, but majority of humanity is not prepared to accept this teaching. It requires such a subtle and advanced yogya antakaranam, and majority of people cannot accept this truth. They will argue, how can I accept this tangible world as unreal? Generally, whatever has utility and tangibility, we all take it as real. There is an orderliness also. Majority cannot swallow the fact that the world is unreal. This is problem number one. There is a order, isn't it? There is a law of what you call gravity, etc., relativity, etc. It is there. And you see the same person second day also, third day also, whole lifetime also. Same husband, you are looking at him every day. After 29 years of wedding. Is it not? There seems to be an order. But that point, Chagodacharya answers in the beginning. That in dream also you do the same thing, isn't it? Looking at the same person day in and day out. So this is one problem. To accept this world is unreal is a very difficult thing. Gaudapada accept that. He understands that. So every Advaita teacher understands this problem of the student. Now second problem is, generally we all feel we need to have relationship with various people around us, so that we will feel secure and comfortable. Therefore, Sangha and Sambandha is treated as a blessing, so that he can derive strength from those relationships, especially when you are sick. When you are sick alone at home, that is the time I wish I would have married. Isn't it? Isn't it? That thought comes. And the relationship is possible in Dvaitam only. Therefore, every normal human being considered Dvaitam is a blessing. It is a support, and therefore people consider Dvaitam is security And not only that, Advaitam is insecurity because you are alone. And not only that, Advaitam is insecurity because in Advaitam no relationship is possible. Asparsha yoga, isn't it? Therefore, Advaitam, there is no one to claim as my own. If there is a person have no relation at all, what language we use for him? Orphan, isn't it? So Advaitins are all orphan people. Therefore, Advaitam is looked upon by ordinary person like a stage of orphan-like situation. Therefore, normal people look upon Dvaitam world as security, Advaitam is insecure because no relationship is possible. When a person has got such a strong, well-entrenched notion, if he hears Vedanta, he won't come to the next class. And therefore, Veda does not want to talk about Advaita in the beginning. Veda talk about Dvaitam, Jivatma and Paramatma, difference, etc. in the beginning portion of Vedas. Actually, Purva Bhaga, the first portion of Veda, Karma Kanda. When Veda talks about Dvaitam, it has to talk about a creation also. So, in the beginning stage, this is called triangular format. Jiva, Jagat, Ishvara. That's called triangular format. Brahman is accepted as cause and the world is accepted as effect. Many Jivatmas are accepted, relationships also accepted, but it is with a hope the student will grow from Manda Adhikari to Madhyama Adhikari to Uttama Adhikari. Until then, Srishti is accepted. Once this person is Uttama Adhikari, Srishti is negated. There is neither cause nor effect. The Advaitam alone is there. And I don't require any other security. Security is my own nature. I am Muktaha. Therefore, Gaudapadacharya says, Asti Vastutva Vadinam. There are immature seekers who strongly claim the world is real. They want real Dvaitam. They want companionship and it is necessary. Therefore, they are called Asti Vastutva Vadinaha. Means Manda Madhyama Adhikari. Vastu Dvaitam Asti, really existing, iti vadi, strongly claim. Why do they claim Dvaitam is real? Upalambhad. It is experienced by us. For them, experience is the criterion for reality. Vedanta says opposite, because you experience, it is not real. Now, that is the second point. Then, another point also, samacharat. They say the world is perfectly in order. There is an orderliness in this world. All the planets, they are all rotating or circulating or whatever in their own orbit. They don't transgress. Even comet coming also, it gets absorbed by the atmosphere. It doesn't hit. So there is an order. There is an orderliness in this world. How can you say this orderly universe is mithya? To those people, Veda comes down and say, you are right. But once they are satisfied with the world, he will take the next step. That is the 42nd verse. Now 43rd verse. Ajatesya satam tesham upalambatvyanti ye jati doshana setsyanti दोषोऽप्यल्पो भविष्यति Question. Now, if the world is unreal, then another problem comes. Why follow moral contact? Why these do's and don'ts? Now the answer is, at this point of time, I don't know I am the truth. We can come to know only when our mind is ready. And to prepare the mind, you have to follow the do's and don'ts. That is the answer there. But 43rd verse, Veda, when Veda is compromising with the truth, that is, Veda is compromising the truth means what? Giving Dvaitam. In Dvaitam, and introducing Dvaitam as Adhyaropa. It's called Adhyaropa Apavada Nyaya. Adhyaropa means superimposition. Then afterwards, Apavada is there. The same thing is negated. After superimposition, the superimposition is removed. That's called Apavada. Will it not create problem for the students? Veda seems to mislead the student from Advaitam to Dvaitam. For people who suffer from the two obstacles mentioned in the previous verse, this compromise will not pose any serious problem. There will be the problem of samsara continuing. Karma yogi is a samsari and so is an upasana yogi. However, following Karma Yoga and Upasana Yoga, a person will become ready for the final teaching of Advaita. So this is what we have to understand. They are all complementary. They are not contradictory. So everybody has to start from Dvaita only. Even Jivan Mukta Purusha also, when he want to eat food, it is Dvaitam only, isn't it? It's not, food is in the plate. However, following Karma Yoga and Upasana Yoga, a person will become ready for the final teaching of Advaita. Bhagavan Krishna refers to this in the Bhagavad Gita. Anybody has got the book? No, I don't have. 9th chapter, 28th verse. 9th chapter, 28th verse. Meaning is, in this way you will be released from the bondage of karma, which is in the form of desirable and undesirable results. Shubha Shubha Pate. Right. So being one whose mind is endowed with renunciation and karma yoga, you will come to me liberated. So that is Bhagavan's promise in Gita. Even though samsara is perpetuated, the seeker will be ready sooner or later to understand this ajativada. So nothing should be neglected. Everything has got its own place. So Vedas are well defined, well designed to suit the need of every human being. So the organization of thoughts development also is appropriate. So that is what we have to understand, the thing to be neglected. Continuing. Upalambha samacharat Maya hastir yathocyate Upalambha samacharat Asti vastu tathocyate. Ultimately, after accepting Dvaitam as Satyam for some time and practicing Karma Yoga and Upasana Yoga for some time, we have to come to Advaitam and see the Dvaitam as similar to the dream world. Now, this is the ultimate thing. This world also, you have to accept it as a dream. Gaudapadacharya here gives a different example of a magic show conducted by a magician. The event displayed in the magic show are experienced and have utility, but they are not real. Bhagavan gives a fantastic magic show in the form of creation and everything in it. That's why here also we read that Maya Viva, second verse in the Dakshinamurti Stotram. Maya Viva Vijrambayatyapi Mahayogiva Yasvichaya. So, here also he mentioned that. Same thing here also. Bhagavan is giving a fantastic magic show. The whole world is a magic show. And we are part of it. Enjoy the show, but do not ascribe absolute reality to it. A magician's elephant, because it is experienced, transacted, and useful, is taken as really there. Is it not? Magician produces an elephant on the stage. It walks. It also trumpet also, isn't it? What is that? David Copperfield. I have not heard of him now. Nowadays I don't hear about him. Disappeared. He made enough money, I think. That's why.
He disappeared. Like the Maya Hasti.
Maybe he made enough money. Nothing new he must have discovered, that's why. Oh, he did a wonderful thing. He disappeared, make it disappear, Statue of Liberty and all that. Yeah. All this is a very big thing. So, this magicians can do a lot of things and make you feel real also. There are a lot of tricks in it. But that's why in fundraiser, somebody was suggesting why not we have a magic show. It won't work because, no, it won't work because in magic show, all our Indian people will be thinking, how did he do that? At that time you ask money, they don't give. The hand will not go to the pocket, you see. They are thinking. So you should not allow them to think. That's the point. So a magician's elephant, because it is experienced, transacted, and useful, is taken as real there. In the same way, Brahman or Bhagavan, the greatest magician, has a magical skill called Maya, with which he makes this creation appear, and people take it as real. That is the 44th verse, now 45th. But in Maya, the magician's elephant, you can see, you can touch also, but it won't last long, isn't it? No, as long as magician is there, it is there. The moment magician goes, that also goes, isn't it? That's what you see in Ramayana also. Ravana, when he was frustrated, he did a trick. That is what he did. He brought Rama's head, cut off Rama's head and brought to Sita ji, because she will be heartbroken. And it was a beautiful trick he made. So that now what is the point of living? My husband has gone. So, practical sense, he will accept Ravana as husband. That was his thinking. But Sita ji was feeling, I don't feel Rama is gone. But it is real also. Rama's head is there. But after he has gone, what happened? The head also gone. So that is what the point. But here it is not like that. Bhagavan doesn't go, so he is there. So it is always there. Magic show. Jatyabhasam chalabhasam. Next one. Vatsabhasam tathaiva cha. Ajachalamavastutvam. Vijnanam shantamadvayam. Therefore, Gaudapada Acharya says that the entire creation is a magic show conducted by Brahman with his Maya Shakti. Brahman with Maya is called Ishvara. The dream world is Jiva's magic show. The waking world is Ishvara's magic show. Being a magic show, all the happenings are intense experiences. But when probed, they will disappear. Quantum mechanics reduces tangible matter to intangible energy. Because of very high speed vibrations, the intangible, invisible energy appears as tangible, visible matter. Now, but Vedanta goes one step ahead. Vedanta says that even energy is nothing but the consciousness principle. All objects, their originations and their movements are nothing but intense motion in Brahman. Brahman is not moving, okay? Don't make that mistake. Intense motion in Brahman. Like in space, all movement, all taking place. Space doesn't move. Therefore, all these are nothing but one consciousness. As I am telling you, one surface of the mirror. Vishwam darpana drishyamana nagari tulyam. In that darpanam, in that mirror, big mirror, huge mirror, what do you see? Buildings are there, roads are there, Cars are moving, people are moving, and all these things are happening there. But what is that? One surface, one mirror. Same way, one consciousness upon which everything is happening. The motion is only a seeming motion caused by Maya. Brahman cannot have any motion because it is all pervading. Now, in order to move, there must be a place where he is not, isn't it? Since he fills the entire universe, where does he move? Space moved where? Another vacuum, you say, but vacuum also is space, isn't it? So, motionless, non-dual consciousness called Brahman alone appears as objects, their origination and movements. All these are experiences, not factual. What is the nature of Brahman? It is free from birth, motion, and all objects. That is a point made in the 45th verse. Paramatma alone appears as this individual. Once this is known, then they don't fall into the trap. Paramatma alone is Jivatma. That's why Tattvamasi Bhavakya is very powerful. Okay. Continuing. Evam na jayate chittam. Evam dharma ajasmritaha. Evameva vijanantaha. Napatanti viparyate. Viparyaye. Oh, okay. Viparyaye, correct. Therefore, one should conclude that there is no duality, origination and movement. In that duality, the most important one is I myself. Without me, this dualistic universe cannot exist. Therefore, this Jivatma is the most important. So, the status of this Jivatma must be clearly understood. If that status is not understood, there will be problems. If the Jivatma is considered to be born, you will get into the problem of origination, duality and movement. This leads to samsara. One has to come out of the notion of an individual jiva and claim one's true nature, that is Brahman. Only then one can relax in life. So Gaudapadacharya pointed out that there are two powerful obstacles for gaining this Advaita Jnanam. That is why the scriptures do not introduce Advaitam in the beginning. In the Veda Purva Bhaga, I am just summarizing whatever I said so far. Okay, it's for your. The scriptures talk about Dvaitam. Just as a mother uses the language of the child for communication with the child, the Veda uses the language of Dvaitam in the beginning of the teaching. Using the Dvaitam temporarily, the Vedas introduce Karma Yoga and Upasana Yoga to strengthen our mind and make us mature so that these two powerful obstacles can be avoided. So obstacles are: one, we conclude that the world is Satyam based on the idea that the world has got. World is experienced, allows for transaction and has utility. We call ETU. Experienced, transaction, utility. Thus, taking the world to be real is a very powerful obstacle. Based on the dream example and learning to look at the dream from the viewpoint of dream individual, it is seen that even though the dream has experience, transaction, utility, but it's not real. It is conditionally real and therefore has temporary reality. By repeatedly dwelling upon the dream, we have to realize that the world is also very similar to dream. This assimilation is very important for getting out of the first obstacle, that the world is real. Second obstacle is more powerful and it is emotion-centered. We want to hold on to Dvaitam for support, for emotional and moral support. We want to hold on to certain things and people. Our comfort is based on the assumption that certain people are around us. This is similar to the baby playing happily when the mother is somewhere around. We want emotional support in the form of worldly relationship and religious relationship, which is the sacred relationship with an external God. Thus, Dvaitam seems to give us support, and so we have strong attachment to Dvaitam. Religious attachment is often more powerful than even worldly attachment. Gaudapada Acharya is knocking off all kinds of duality, both secular and sacred, through his powerful logic. The logic may be intellectually convincing, but emotionally it is very difficult to give up the attachment. Thus, Advaitam is frightening. In many religions, moksha is presented in dualistic terms, in which the God-devotee duality is maintained. That is, moksha is a condition in which the devotee lives with God happily for a long time. Considering that Gaudapada Acharya negates this also, some people call him an atheist, a Buddhist in Vedanta disguise. Prachanna Bauddha, it is said. When the fear of Advaitam comes, how should it be handled? Spiritual progress is world dependence to God dependence and finally self dependence. Self dependence means that self has been transformed. It does not refer to Jivatma because Jivatma is dependable. When one comes to self-dependence, the self is understood to be not the Jivatma but the Atma. When I have woken up to the waker's true nature, which is Paramatma, Advaitam is no more fearful but Ananda. I do not need any support, but I am the support of all. Until the conviction comes, one should continue to depend on God. But once in a while, I should try to come out of that dependence. Otherwise, one will be always in the triangular format. One should come out of the second obstacle by understanding that one can stand upon one's own emotional feet. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna declared that Prajahadi yada kaman sarvan partha manogadan atmanye vatmana tushtaha stita prajnastadochate. The world does not have origination or existence, but it is only an appearance in me. And I am the adhishthanam of the waker's world, just like I am the adhishthanam of the dream world. With the Nidra Shakti, I support the dream world, and with Maya Shakti, I support the waking world. In this manner, all the Jivatmas are really not Jivatmas, with a date of birth and a date of death. We have to break the limiting shackles. The Jivatmas are unborn but eternal, and they are of the nature of consciousness, Atma. The body is an appearance caused by Maya. Only if you know this, you can be out of samsara. By knowing in this manner only, a jnani avoids samsara. Having the notion that one is born out of God or part of God leads to samsara. Knowing that one is identical with God, aham brahmasmi, alone will get a person out of samsara. Now from 47 to verse 58, he is going to talk about Alat Shanti. That was the title of this chapter. We read 47 and 48 together. Rijuvakratika bhasam alataspanditam yatha grahanagrahaka bhasam Vijnanaspanditam tatha okay. Rijuvakra. Aspandamanamaatmalatam अनाभासमजं यथा अस्पन्दमानं विज्ञानम् अनाभासमजं तथा The word alatam means a torch with a handle and flame on one hand. Here in American language, what you say? Huh?
No,
Torch with a flame. With a flame. Torch, no? Not a flashlight. Flashlight is different.
Statue of Liberty torch.
Huh?
Statue of Liberty torch.
That is torch, yes. For the sake of explanation, let us take the example of an incense stick or a firebrand, which is a stick with a flame tip on one end. Gaudapadacharya reveals Advaitam through this example. Imagine a dark room and you are in the room with an incense stick, lit incense stick, okay? The glowing tip represents Brahman, which is one, and the surrounding darkness is the Maya Tattva. Suppose you start moving the firebrand, even though it is one glowing tip, as it moves, different patterns will appear in the dark room depending upon the type of movement. Gaudapadacharya calls this movement of the alatam alataspandanam. The patterns are Dvaitam because several patterns appear and disappear. Thus we have Advaita Alatam and Dvaita Abhasa, appearances or patterns. Advaita Alatam and Dvaita Abhasa are caused by Alataspandanam. Alatam, Spandanam, Dvaitam, firebrand. Motion patterns are the two sets of keywords here. Alatam is compared to Paramatma and the patterns are compared to the entire cosmos. When alatam is in motion, the patterns appear. So the Anvaya Vyatireka logic, motion is the cause of the appearance of patterns. Motion belongs to alatam. So alatam in motion alone appears as several patterns. Gaudapadacharya says that consciousness in the dark room called Maya has got different violent motions, as it were in the form of thoughts. Now don't equate the example too much, okay? Then there will be problem. Now what is the problem?
Brahman cannot only be a point, it has to be everywhere in the darkness.
No. That is okay. Brahman is one, that is what is established there by the incense stick. But incense stick moves. Brahman cannot move. The movement he is talking about is what?
Your thoughts.
Maya. Maya is the one that is moving, not Brahman. That you have to understand, okay? Otherwise, there will be a lot of confusion. With the example itself is a problem. That's why example cannot be stretched too much, then you will get into trouble.
Use only as a
So, in the waking and dream state, consciousness seems to move and multiply because of thoughts, resulting in experiences like I am conscious of this wall, I am conscious of this property, etc. Thus, one consciousness seems to become many. This plurality of experience is available in the waking state and the dream state, but in deep sleep state, when the mind and the thought subside, consciousness alone is present without any change of thoughts or motion. Now think about the deep sleep, because we think that unless there are objects around us, we will not be happy. Unless I have relationship, I will not be happy. But in deep sleep stage, what is there? Your body also not there. Mind is also not there. Intellect also not there. Enjoyer itself is not there. But you consider it is a blissful state, isn't it? Anando Ananda. So to have Ananda, you don't need anything. All this paraphernalia is train yourself in that manner, you see. Mind has to be trained in that way. It is all up to you how to train. I trained my tongue 1 year with the bland food, you see. But I went and stayed in India for 1 month. The whole thing collapsed. Now when I came back, I'm eating the same food, but still that craving is there. It's very interesting to watch how your mind asks, the tongue asks for that taste. And it's very difficult to resist. With a lot of willpower you have to do it. But once you get to that point, then everything becomes easy. How to train the mind. I was watching myself. It is very interesting. So, in the deep sleep state, in that condition, there is no plurality experienced, and there is only Advaitam. Consciousness in motion gives rise to Dvaita Anubhava. Consciousness in motion means what? Not consciousness is not moving, apparently moving. So that illusion comes also, optical illusion is also there, isn't it? What is the example?
And the picture on the book also they have done it very well.
Yeah, lots are there. Suppose you are sitting in the car and you feel the trees are moving, isn't it? When you are traveling in a boat, especially, actually trees are not moving, you are moving, isn't it? So thus consciousness in motion appears as the world patterns. This is the Anvaya Vyatireka logic in the 47th verse. And the 48th verse, Vyatireka is given. 47th verse, Anvaya. And the Anvaya in the 47th verse is as follows. The appearance of straight and curved patterns is due to the motion of the firebrand. One consciousness itself gets divided into subject-object duality. This is the wonder. It is the greatest wonder. Wonder of what? Maya. Just like one waker gets divided into the perceived duality in dream, one Atma seemingly gets divided into subject and object because of the seeming motion of consciousness. Seeming motion. It is unbelievable. Now, quantum mechanics states that all objects in the world are not solidly tangible substances, but only intangible energy in motion. Vedanta goes one step further and says that consciousness in motion is the world. They call it as energy. We call it as consciousness. Because energy and matter can be interconvertible, you see. So the one consciousness itself becomes subject and object, you see. That is the beauty. Like in dream also, you yourself is the world of dream. And you yourself is enjoying it also. What a wonder. What are you enjoying? Enjoying myself. Gurudev used to give an example. The children, when growing up, they use the thumb. They put the thumb in the mouth. And you remove that, they start crying. What are you doing? Enjoying yourself. That's it. It is not an object separate from you, but he thinks that it is. Vyatireka is in the 40th verse. When the firebrand is at rest, all the pattern experience totally disappear. The firebrand remains the same without either being karyam or karanam. Similarly, in deep sleep state, the world disappears and consciousness alone is present without any motion. The sleeping person cannot say in sleep that other people who are awake are experiencing the world, because in sleep he cannot know that others are even present. Even if there are people experiencing the world while someone is sleeping, it is because consciousness is in motion in the experiencing people's waking condition. If all living beings are at rest in sleep, who can talk about an existing world? The motionless consciousness is free from any appearances and is unborn. Okay, one more we'll take. Alate spandane vai. Alate spandamane vai. Nabhasa anyato bhuva. न ततोऽन्यत्र निस्पन्दात् अलातं प्रविशन्ति ते नालातं नो नालातं आतं प्रविशन्ति ते If you try to analyze the nature of the patterns which are generated when the firebrand is in motion, circular, elliptical, square, etc., all patterns we experience. But if we try to analyze those appearances, it will be interesting. When the alatam in motion, patterns appear. Do the patterns come from outside the firebrand? No. Can you say the patterns have come from inside the agarbatti? No. Not from inside and also not from outside. When the pattern in motion, pattern appear, all right. But we cannot explain the pattern. Why? One cannot say it has come from inside or outside. Similarly, when the firebrand comes to rest, then all the patterns disappear. Where do they go? Do the pattern go outside the firebrand or do they go inside the firebrand? Similarly, when the world appears and disappears, you cannot say the world came from outside of Brahman. Also, you cannot say the world came from inside Brahman. Similarly, during Pralayam, the world goes outside Brahman, we cannot say. That means we can never logically talk about a world. This world is not available for logical explanation. Coming from outside or coming from inside. No verb can be attached to the world. Since there is no substance called pattern, you are not able to talk about its arrival and departure. Similarly, you cannot talk about the arrival of the world and departure of the world because there is no thing called world. So we have to make four statements. One, pattern do not come from inside the firebrand. Patterns do not come from outside the firebrand. Third, pattern do not go outside the firebrand. Fourth, pattern do not go inside the firebrand. In this sloka, three are mentioned. The fourth one will be mentioned in the next sloka. Okay, all right. So since the fourth one is mentioned there, we'll take that also, right? na nirgata alatatte dravyatva bhavayogataha vijñāne vitataiva syuhu ābhāsasya visheshataha. Na nargata alatat. The patterns do not emerge from the firebrand. When they appear for our eyes, they have not emerged from inside the firebrand. Na abhasa na anyato bhuvaha. The patterns do not come from outside the firebrand. When the firebrand in motion, alate spandamane, you see the pattern, but they don't come from outside. Number 3, when the firebrand is not in motion, all the patterns disappear. When it disappears, they don't go to the firebrand. Tataha nispandat anyatra na gacchanti. They do not go outside of the firebrand. Na alatam pravishanti. They don't enter also. And in the same way, we have to extend this to Chaitanyam also. So the first part, na nirgata alatatte, we have already connected to previous verse. Why we are not able to logically explain the pattern? It is because we have not raised the fundamental question. Is there a substance called pattern? We assume that the pattern is a substance by itself. Same mistake we are making with reference to this creation also. Vedanta is making a mind-boggling statement. There is no substance called world at all. But we have taken it for granted. Therefore, Gaudapadacharya says, Dravyatva abhava yogataha. All these problems because patterns are not substantial. It is a mere non-substantial nama and rupa. When substance is not there, how can you talk about an action? Coming and going is possible when the person is there. Therefore, the world never comes and the world never goes, because the world never is. The snake disappeared. Where did it disappear? Rope snake example. When the light comes, flashlight comes, snake disappears. You cannot say it disappeared into the rope. Why? Because it was not there. Pattern never comes and goes because pattern never is. The easiness of the pattern belongs to the firebrand. Pattern is mithya. And Gaudapadacharya says, if you practice this method of thinking, after some time, you will understand bangle is only nama rupa. Go to the jeweler shop. Give me some Give me some Namarupa. It has no substance at all. But then you have to extend this logic to the whole universe. Now Gaudapadacharya goes from example to original. Vijnane api tathaiva syuhu. With reference to the Brahma Chaitanyam also, you have to extend the same pattern of thinking. Why? Because abhasasya avisheshataha. Because the Dvaita Prapancha is also an appearance, like the pattern of the agarbatti. So consciousness in motion appears as Akasha, Vayu, Agni, Jalam, Prithvi, Sthula Shariram, Sukshma Shariram, etc. All these are not there in reality. This is a Brahma. Wow. Very good. We'll stop here today. Think about it. Whole thing is a Brahma. Huh? We already come to 51, right? 50. Half is done. We'll finish fast, I think. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Hari Om.